Welcome to this episode of the God is Awesome podcast. Today's episode is going to be all about hope. In the midst of all the bad stuff that is happening, it can be difficult to cling to hope. However, as Christians, we have a firm foundation for our hope in the promises of God. Today we will explore what the scriptures say about hope. Let's first turn to Romans 8:24 through 25, which says, "For in this hope we were saved. Now hope that is seen is not hope. For who hopes for what he sees? But if we hope for what we do not see, we wait for it with patience." This passage reminds us that our hope should not be dependent on what we see in the world or in our circumstances. Our hope is in something more eternal, and we must wait patiently for it to come. Next, we can look at Hebrews 6:19, which says, "We have this as a sure and steadfast anchor of the soul, a hope that enters into the inner place behind the curtain." This verse tells us that hope serves as an anchor for our soul. When we face trials and tribulations, we can hold on to the hope we have in God's promises. We can trust that even when we can't see a way forward, God is working behind the scenes. Finally, we can turn to Jeremiah 29:11, which says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope." In this verse, God promises to give us a future and a hope. Even when things seem bleak, we can trust that God has good plans for us. In conclusion, we are reminded that our hope is not in the things of this world, but in the promises of God. We can hold on to our hope, anchor our souls in it, and trust that God is working for our good. Let us remind these verses in times of hardship and uncertainty, and find comfort in the hope we have in Christ. Thank you for listening to this episode on hope.